Brotatoes, what is up? It's Darkmech here with the last guide for the Protection Warrior No Death Knight in the Group Gold Challenge Mode Guide Series. Now today we are post-patch 6.1 and we are in Everbugged or Bugged Bloom or whatever the fuck you want to call it because it's absolutely rat shit at the moment, guys. Now in my old opinion, Everbloom was the hardest challenge mode due to the timer. Now it's the hardest challenge mode due to how fucking bugged it is. So today we're running a Resto Druid, Protection Warrior, Arms Warrior, Enhancement Shaman, and a BM Hunter. So to start off, tanks you're going to want to mount up. We're going to run all the way through and we are going to pull the first 3 packs. The Lone Guy near the pedals around the corner and the Padding Berserker if it's there. Now it's not there on this attempt, so we pull it at the very end, which is, you know, not optimal obviously, but there's not much we can do about it. Now, the mobs you want to be aware of in these pulls are the Naturalists, the Berserkers, and the Tenders. Now, the Tenders will cast Enraged Growth. This will make whoever they're casting it on do fucking insane damage, so you need to interrupt it. The Berserkers do a Breath that does a fair amount of damage. And the Naturalists will cast Barrage of Leaves, which on its own isn't a huge issue, but if there's 2 or 3 Barrage Leaves going off on one person, it can drop them very quickly. So just be mindful of that. You want to try and rotate your stuns. Frag Belt Grenades, Warriors with Fear, Monks, Leg Sweep, Binding Shots, Typhoons, Vortexes. You guys know the drill by now, but you really do need to have them sort of on lockdown to try and interrupt as many of those casts as you possibly can and to bunch them up. We sort of had 3 set assigned interrupts when we ran around that corner to try and get them in. I also ran Gag Order in here just due to protectors and this reason, just to try and clump them up. Now this is where we're going to get up the first wall, and it's really fucked how Blizzard did this. Usually on my monk video you saw where we would have ran up. Now we have to get up here, and look, it's far from ideal, but if you can't get up on a mount, get a hunter to disengage up. If you don't have a hunter, then you're really going to have to try and get good at jumping up walls. But I can just get into a 2-seated mount and you can get up. So I'm going to run down to Witherbark and pull the first 2 packs here, and then I'm going to pull the Padding 2. Now what that is going to give us is 3 Menders and 5 Naturalists. Now the Naturalists will cast a stun on a random player. That needs to be dispelled ASAP. They'll also cast Barrage of Leaves, again what we talked about at the start. The Menders are going to cast Healing Waters and you need to interrupt that. If a couple get off, it's not the end of the world, guys, as long as you're just mashing everything else down. You can see we've got really high cleave DPS. Like we're all above 40k at the moment, so we had really good DPS in here. Protection Warriors after our little buff, we really are quite viable now. I know Blood DKs and Brewmasters are still going to be sort of flavor of the month and things like that in the pick, but we really have a fucking lot of AoE DPS to offer, and we're not too bad for here wise now. So we're going to get these guys down. Again, as you can see, we're rotating our shockwaves. We have 2 shockwaves on the 20-second cooldown, which is obviously nice, hitting 3 targets. The cap totems, the grenades. So get these guys down as quick as you can. Obviously, the Menders are the priority with their heal. And as I said, just make sure you're trying to interrupt whatever you can. Now, you're going to have to pre-pot as soon as that mob goes down. If you wait and do it while this orb is coming in, your pot will go into combat. And you won't get a second pot. Not that you really will get a second pot through this fight, but just know that when that goes down, you want to pot straight away. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tank him in the middle. I'm waiting for that first Parched Gasp there, and then I'm going to turn around, Heroic Leap all the way back to this wall. Means that I just don't take the damage from the first Parched Gasp. You can do that also on a Brewmaster Monk. Though it doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage. As you can see here, I put up a shield barrier. I got like 168% resolve when I do it, and I really don't take much damage. So it's not actually as bad as you think that damage. A shield barrier really does cut it. So then he's going to go into Brittlebark phase where he takes double damage, and you just want to blow everything, go big dick and smash him down. Now as you can see through that fight, there's going to be these root crawling things that'll go out and go after your range. Now what happens is when it hits them, it'll form a trap on the ground, and what we've done is we've put them in a semicircle or a line in front of Witherbark, with the goal being that the water orbs travelling towards him will get caught in the traps and they'll spawn these adds. Now if 4 orbs get to Witherbark, Brittlebark ends and it's fucked. Brewmasters, you can just put a statue down and the adds will go straight to your statue. As a prot warrior, I just put a Mocking Banner down, bro stormed and gave 0 fucks. So once Witherbark is down, we're going to run over to the next fucking bugged piece of shit in here. We're going to try and get up this wall, but we're getting up from this point. You can't get up from the old point anymore. Now you can see that little green sort of root that's coming off the edge. You want to try and jump onto that and sort of double jump off it up onto the wall. Hunters can just disengage up it again, two-seated mount and get in, but it is a giant pain in the ass. But invising through the huts, just I don't know how you would do it. Like I think we make timer by 17 seconds with all this DPS. I don't know how we would have been without pots. So we're going to the mages, and the mages are super fucking bugged at the moment also, guys, I'm sorry to say. With the mages, I would not pull more than 4 at a time. If you've got a blood DK and you can grip them up, use army, then you may be okay, but you really need to have a solid way to lock them down. Your Serenity Breath of Fire Glyph is really going to come in handy here for monks. So what we do here is we have 4 mages. So this is the max that we would look to pull. And then we go on to a heavy stun rotation. Now, you really need to be vocal with your group in locking these down. They've changed the mages now where the casts are now AoE damage, and they just fuck your shit up. Now, there's 3 different types of mages. There's the Pyromancers, Frost Mages, and Arcane Mages. The Fire Mages will cast Dragon's Breath. If you get hit by that, you get disorientated and things can go horribly wrong. The Frost Mages will put little freezing circles on the ground you can get frozen in. And the Arcane Mage does Arcane Blast and a Black Hole. So again, you just need to lock the mages down, guys. If a couple of casts get off, you should still be able to survive through it, but maybe 3 will kill you. The damage is just insane. We wiped a number of times when we got to the mages trying to figure out sort of what we were going to do. So we go to pull the last 2 here, and as you can see, that Pyromancer, the Putrid Pyromancer, is evade bugged in the fucking wall. We're just having a great time catching a break in here at the moment. So we have to sort of wait for, I don't know what's going to happen on that. We were just going to pull the boss and then just deal with it if it came active, and then despawned and just teleported to the middle. So we're going to get this down as quick as we can. Now the spore images, guys, I should mention, you used to be able to just sort of ignore the spore images, cleave them down, they weren't a big deal. You have to fucking interrupt them now or they will own your face. They've just been buffed. They've been buffed so much it's ridiculous. So what we're going to do is the spore image is up. We're going to get aggro on it. Well, I'm going to get aggro on it. And then we're going to jump onto Archmage Sol. Now, Archmage Sol has the potential to turn things really bad for your group also if not handled right. Now, what I'm doing is you can see I'm taking her up near this circle where she stands. And I'm going to dump the first Cinder Blooms. Or Fire Blooms, sorry, they're called. I'm going to dump the first Fire Blooms sort of up around this area. Now, you can see the Fire Blooms just cast a big expanding circle wave of fire. And all you want to do, guys, is jump over it. So we're going to have 4 before we push her through. You can see I've got 3 there, and I'm just sort of moving down towards the hut now. Because what I'm going to do is when the 4th one's down and we change her into the frost phase, I'm going to run over to the other side. Now, I get put asleep there, which is just such a big amount of terrible. You really need to watch out. I could have wiped us there realistically, so just be minor of that. I'll be careful of that, I should say. You can see Archmage is also going to cast Fireballs. You can interrupt them, you can spell Reflect, and they do quite a bit of damage, so make sure on that. As you can see there, the 3rd Parasitic Growth, we're going to interrupt her and we're going to push her into her next magic phase of Frost. So every time you interrupt a Parasitic Growth, it'll change her school of magic: Fire, Frost, Arcane. And when you get to Arcane, you're dead because she'll just explode you. So you never want to push her to Arcane. Now you can see we've also got a Spore image up from that when we pushed. Do not focus down the Spore image, guys. All I'm doing is making sure I can try and get interrupts on it. It has too much HP, and once you kill Archmage, it will despawn anyway. So just continue to smash Archmage Sol down. You can see she'll cast Frozen Rain in this phase. There'll be no more Fire Blooms. You just want to make sure that you are moving out of the Frozen Rains and you're continuing to jump the Fire Blooms. But moving over to the spider sort of entrance, well, not entrance, but the way you would run to her, you can see those Fire Blooms aren't even reaching us. Just be careful not to move too far back. They've changed it now. We moved a little further back and she despawned. So just be wary of that when you are doing it, because that was really annoying when she despawned on that attempt and everything was going well. So once she is down, we're going to start moving to Zarieth, I think the spider's boss name is. What we do here is Drama and Povicth run ahead to start the gauntlet and start killing them, and I just drag this spider down. Now, you can go further ahead on the spider, but it will just grip you back, which is a real pain in the ass. I really should have been strafing here like I'm doing now rather than backpedaling too, so that was a little bad of me. But that's the way things go. So on to the spider boss. Now what's going to happen when you engage it is you are going to get 3 waves of ads. Well, you're supposed to. You can see there's toxic spiderlings remaining 3. It's supposed to be 3 waves. I'm not sure if it's bugged at the moment or what happened, but we got 4 waves every single time, which is a big fucking time waste. And you really don't have time to waste in here. So I'm not sure if that's another bug or what's going on with that at the moment. But with the 3 waves, you're going to get toxic spiderlings, venom sprayers, and a gorge buster. Now, the gorge buster will just fixate on someone. It can't be tanked. The good news is, though, that they have pretty much fuck all HP, and you can just smash them down as soon as they spawn. Do try and have your group sort of standing close to each other. It sucks trying to run, sort of chase them all around if everybody's spread out, or even trying to navigate through these clouds. The clouds will do quite a bit of damage to you. You can also see there'll be pale orcs, or venom crazed pales, I think they're called. I keep calling them orcs. It's just the nerd in me, though. You just want to interrupt, or you can't interrupt, but you want to stun him when he's inhaling the gas, and just get onto him as quick as you can. As you can see, it drops really quickly. The gauntlet here you shouldn't have any trouble with. Just get them down as quick as you can. Now, as you can see, this is supposed to be our last one. You can see toxic spiderlings remaining 1. We kill the last toxic spiderling, and then the boss should drop down, but instead the boss is still up in the web, and we are going to get another wave. Now this probably costs us, about 15 seconds, I would say is fair. It may even be more than that because we're still waiting for the next wave to sort of drop down. Now, as you can see, the wave has dropped down, and we are killing them now, and then the boss comes down like halfway through this. So it's clearly bugged because we didn't even finish the wave and the boss dropped down. So once Zarieth drops down, you're going to want to get onto Zarieth straight away. Now what you will notice is there's going to be crazed pales through this phase as well. What you want to do is taunt them over and just burn them down a little bit, about 50%, 40%. And what's going to happen is when Zarieth goes, Zarieth, or whatever the fuck his name is, or her name, when he goes to eat the crazed, you want to switch to the ad and kill it. If it ends up devouring the ad, it'll heal, and you are pretty much GG. You want to have 2 people assigned on this boss to interrupts. There's Venomous Sting you want to interrupt, and Toxic Bolt. Now they do a fair amount of damages, and as you can see, I can't speak, sorry. The damage is actually pretty high in here anyway, so make sure that you're interrupting them. You really don't want to make this any harder than it has to be, because it is actually quite hard. It's easily the hardest challenge mode out at the moment, the way it is. And tanks, make sure that you don't run through that toxic shit there. It really does do a fucking ass ton of damage. So once the spider is down, we're going to leg it up the tunnel, and we're going to go and get onto protectors. Now, once you've sort of got to here, you really shouldn't... You're not home, but you're definitely in a good spot. Now, we're coming up... We're slow. We're coming out of that tunnel at 5 minutes. On my monk, we were coming out at like over 6. Now, protectors, exact same thing as always. You want to start off tunneling and cleaving off Gola. What I'm doing is I'm getting an interrupt with Gag Order on Tulu, so they're all pulled over together, and we're just going to cleave them down. Now, Gag Order, as I said, is really good in here. If you've got a DK, they can just grip Tulu over, and it's no worries. But on the Prot Warrior, just run in Gag Order, and over they come and start focusing them down. Now, Gola is going to cast 2 things that you must interrupt. One is Revitalizing Waters, which is the heal, and the other is Rapid Tides. Now, I assigned myself Revitalizing Water, and Drama was doing Rapid Tides. Povicth was getting the Bramble Patch and Bark Skins with Cade. So once you get Gola down, you are going to want to switch all of your focus to Dulu, pretty much. You want to cleave them down at the same time, but Dulu has more HP than Tulu, so just watch the ads up the top there. We were actually contemplating pulling 2 of them because we're still 1 mob short on mob count, and we were sort of debating, do we risk getting one of the mages down, going through the mages if they're in a group or whatnot, or do we pull those 2? But they were too far away in the end, we decided, so we just bailed out. Now you can also see Dulu's going to cast a Noxic Eruption. It's that green shit that's going to swirl around him on the ground. All you want to do is move out of it. If you stand in it, you'll get punted. It's really not going to do a lot of damage to your warriors. You can just leap or charge back if it does. Just make sure you don't get knocked back into ads, obviously. And as you can see, Tulu is long dead, and we're just getting down Dulu now. Obviously, if you can kill them at the same time, it's a huge advantage, because again, we're sort of wasting a lot of time just finishing off Dulu when Tulu died so long ago. So they're down. 3 minutes is left on the clock, and we are still one mob short and need to get onto the last boss. So we're mounting up. We're going to run all the way up here, and we're going to pull one mage. Now, as you can see, the mages were changing spots all the time, as they do anyway. But what we do is we focus down this pyromancer. We cyclone the other one there, the arcane mage, and we just blast this pyromancer down. Now, as soon as the pyromancer's down, zero fucks given, guys. Just start running to the portal. Don't worry about the spore image, any of that stuff. Just run. So we're getting through the portal at 2 minutes 20, we'll say, by the time we get through there. So we're through, and we are on to the last boss now. I should have mentioned too, sorry guys, pretty bad. First, your heroisms, Witherbark when he hits Brittlebark phase, and you're saving your last heroism for here. Now, as you can see, we've just got just over 2 minutes to kill this boss. And it's not a hard fight, this one. So if you get here with this amount of time and you've got DPS, you're in shot for gold. So we're going to use our hero, as I said. Now, the things you want to avoid in this fight are the Colossus Blow. It's a giant frontal cone attack that if you stand in it, as I said in my monk video, a kitten will die, a fairy will lose their wings, and your group will think you are the biggest fucking spastic, and they will also hate you for fucking up gold here. So just don't do it. He'll periodically cast Genesis, as he's doing here. Pretty much what you want to do is get people to run over the petals on the ground so they don't spawn a bunch of unnecessary adds. You can leave a few up if you do need to, but we managed to get them all anyway. But you obviously don't want to sacrifice too much DPS from the boss if you've got lots of melee. Entanglement is another thing that is new to the challenge mode encounter that he'll cast. Basically, he'll entangle a player in roots. They take moderate to heavy damage, and you want to break them out ASAP from that entanglement. You can also see there'll be little adds that spawn, and you can also see there's fire patches on the ground. Now, this is the one-time tanks that you are permitted to get everything on you and go and stand in the fire. Standing in the fire on this fight is good, so make sure you are standing in the fire whenever you can. Drag the adds into it, drag the boss into it, and just fucking melt him. As you can see here, 45 seconds on gold and 25% still, so we were pretty confident we had it here, but it's just such a tight timer, you just cannot afford to fuck it up. So that's pretty much it on this boss, guys. Obviously, the wall jumps are obviously annoying, but if we had been invis potting and had the pot cooldown, I don't think we would have got the timer. He's just about to die now, and there's 17 seconds left on the timer. So we make gold. Actually, it might have been 14 seconds. We make gold by 14 seconds. And you can imagine if we hadn't had DPS pots to push that, probably 14 seconds we would have lost. So a really fucking hard challenge mode, guys. It was really good to get through it post 6.1, and it's good to be able to show you guys how to do it. It all comes down to the mages, though. So that is it, guys. That is 8 of 8 gold guides on the Protection Warrior with no DK in the group. Thank you very much to everybody that's joined in, nice words and things like that. It's really awesome, and it's awesome to be able to help you guys out. So thank you very much for watching, and any questions at all, please hit me up. Cheers, guys.